Persimmons are yet another fruit that have not been a go-to in my kitchen, but are quickly becoming one. They are quite unique in flavor, which makes them pretty versatile, so they work really well in both sweet and savory recipes. And I am using them with saffron to make an upside down cake. So to make that, I'm going to first put into a small mixing bowl a 1/4 cup of maple syrup, 2 tablespoons of melted ghee. You can use unsalted butter or coconut oil here as well, and a 1/4 teaspoon of fine sea salt. I'm going to whisk that all together, and this is going to create a glaze that is going to caramelize the persimmons that are going to be in the bottom of my cake pan. So I like to use a springform pan for this. And I've greased that, and I'm lining that with parchment paper before I pour in my maple syrup mixture. I'm going to make sure that that maple syrup mixture is spread evenly across the bottom of the springform pan before I arrange my persimmon slices on it. So I'm going to set that aside while I prepare my persimmons. I like to use fuyu persimmons. There are a couple different kinds. Either work. The main thing is I like to wait until they're about the texture of a tomato on the outside. And then I'm going to slice them into about a 1/4 inch thick slices. Make sure you remove the seeds. And once those are sliced up, I am going to arrange them around the bottom of the springform pan. I like to use the bottom of the persimmon, and I just flip it over so that once the baked cake is flipped over, you see the pretty star pattern rather than the skin. I'm going to set that aside while I make my batter. So I'm going to mix together my dry ingredients, which are 2 cups of cassava flour, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And once that is all whisked together, I'm going to set that aside and mix together my wet ingredients. So for that, I'm going to use another small bowl, and I'm going to pour in 1 cup of maple syrup, 1 cup of non-dairy milk, 1/2 cup of orange juice, 3/4 of a cup of melted ghee. Again, this needs to be cooled, and you can use coconut oil or unsalted butter for that as well. And the reason it needs to be cooled is because the next thing I'm adding in are eggs, and I don't want it to cook those. And then I'm going to add in 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract and 1/2 teaspoon of saffron threads, and whisk that all together really well to make sure the eggs are completely beaten and everything's thoroughly combined before I then pour my wet ingredients back into my dry ingredients to create my batter. So I'm going to whisk that together, and once the batter is made, I'm going to pour that over the top of my persimmons in my springform pan, and just make sure that it evenly covers all of the persimmons. I have my oven preheated to 350 degrees, and I'm going to bake this for about 25 to 30 minutes until a toothpick comes out clean. Now, I forgot to take a picture of this before we started serving it, so this is the best I've got. I like to drizzle it with a kefir or a yogurt and some honey, and if you want to take an extra step, it's delicious to slice it up and toast each slice before serving it. So I hope that you will enjoy.